For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Welcome to another edition of the Focus program. My name is Paul Dingeman. Glad to have you along. We are honored to have the Sheriff of St. Clair County, Mat King, joining us today. Matt, nice to see you. Welcome back to the Focus set. 2023, lots of exciting things happening in your department. New people, new dogs.
Yes.
Tell me what's happening.
Well, we've got a lot going on. Like you said, we've got a new canine handler, Deputy Egan, who's been a great employee for the Sheriff's Office for over 11 years. He worked in our jail and our Road Patrol Drug Task Force, and now he's our canine handler, and he's got Canine Brock. All indications, a great dog, and we know Deputy Egan will do a great job. So we're excited about that.
Good.
And there's lots of other things going on. In 2022, we had some excitement. We've got a new public information officer, and she's doing a great job, great outreach. She put together a nice day of hosting some children to come over, do a trunk or treat, and we call it Donuts and Deputies.
So, I like it.
Yeah, we had over 500 kids there, and they had a blast. And
at the jail facility.
Yes, right in the front parking lot. We had some of our SRT equipment and people from all parts of our agency, from the jail, from the Road Patrol Drug Task Force, like I said, our Detective Bureau, and it was fun. It was great to see the kids go around. They were dressed up. We had a lot of the family members of the agency there, so that was a great day, and it was great to get some outreach, So.
The family members of the agency don't necessarily get to see the facility very often, and so to do that trunk or treat kind of thing makes it a family affair.
It was a family affair. Lots of kids came up, and I knew some, and some I didn't know, and then kids from the neighborhood came. It was a really fun afternoon. We were blessed with good weather and a great turnout.
Sounds like you'll be doing that again.
We will. That'll be an annual event, and just keep an eye out on our Facebook page for around Halloween, obviously, and come on out, bring the kids out, and kind of see what it's all about. So
good.
That was fun. We added a new DRE, which is a drug recognition expert. That deputy is able to identify signs of people driving under the influence of drugs.
Okay.
Very important, a lot of training to be able to identify these signs and to put it down in a report and to be able to talk about it in court so we can get some convictions of people who are drugged driving.
Normally, we always heard people weaving on the road, that would be a drunk driver. That's different with drugs?
It can be the same to make that traffic stop. Unfortunately, with some of the opioids, we find these individuals sleeping at the wheel at a stop sign, but a lot of times it is the weaving. And then, of course, we find the weaving and sometimes distracted driving, people on their phones. So this deputy is able to differentiate between a drunk driving and a drug driving, and it's very technical. She's a great deputy, Deputy Seavolt, and we're looking to add more to that group as well. So that's exciting because she can help any agency in the county.
Okay.
So, other things, we have 3 school resource officers, 1 in Port Huron Area School District. We're looking to maybe add a 2nd Port Huron Area School District in 2023. We have 1 at the Ira School District, which is Anchor Bay School District, actually, and then Memphis. We added that this year, and it's exciting to be a part of that community as well.
Okay,
so,
all right.
Lots going on.
It's good for the students at that vulnerable age to interact with a police officer.
Yeah, interact in a positive way. You create that relationship. They see that.
So you've got a lot of international waterways that play havoc with some of your work.
Yeah, absolutely. We have obviously the St. Clair River, Lake St. Clair, and Lake Huron. Over 110 miles of international waterways and a lot of water traffic, right? The weather gets nice, people get out there with their boats. And some of our accident investigators are cross-trained, and they're able to do accident investigation on the water, including reconstruction of accidents on the water. It's very unique, takes a lot of training, but when you talk about an accident that happens on the water, you don't have the markings on the concrete or certain markings on maybe in the ditch or whatever. You're talking about a water that just goes back to the normal state. So we're really relying on their expertise, obviously witness statement, but to be able to reconstruct an accident on the water that may have caused the death, it's very important, and we rely on those accident investigators for that.
Varied things that you've got in that department, don't you? Continue with your list.
Well, we often talk about our drug task force because it's a unique group of individuals.
when those people work 24/7 like the whole department, but they really work in unique situations.
Absolutely. You know, they are on call 24/7. If somebody is on vacation, they always make sure there's enough of them that are able to answer the call. Their hours are never set because, you know, they're always working on investigation involved drug traffickers, and that is not a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday operation.
Right.
But they were very successful this year, and we continue to press on. They had 106 drug search warrants,
Wow.
which is a record for our drug task force. It's very active. If you think about there's 365 days a year, that's almost one every 3 days. And they confiscated nearly $4.7 million in drugs this year.
Wow.
So
$4.7 million.
$1 million in drugs, yes. They also confiscated $163,000 in property and then $180,000 in currency, all linked to drug trafficking. That's a lot of activity, and it's a sign that they're working hard, and it's a good sign. Obviously, you could look at it the other way. If there's that much drugs out there to be confiscated, it's a sign of how much they're needed, because you know, to have that much drugs floating around our neighborhood, if we did not have a drug task force to keep that in check, you think about how many more people would be affected negatively. We're talking about crimes connected to drugs like larceny and armed robbery and assaults, but also more and more people having access to those drugs. So the work they do is important, oftentimes dangerous, and those individuals are very dedicated, and we're proud of the individuals.
And next we have?
We have our Marine Division.
Yes.
Very important part. I was talking about the accident reconstruction earlier, but obviously we have Marine deputies out there. They work part-time and they work the boats for us, keeping our waterways safe. And they, you know, they logged 3,265 hours of just traveling our waterways, trying to make sure people are driving safely and within the law. They responded to 189 calls for service, including 4 boating accidents, 2 which were deaths and drownings related to accidents. So the work they do out there is important. Obviously, we have the international waterways, we have the freighters going up and down, and we have civilians and fishermen enjoying the water, which we wanted to do, but they're out there to make sure they can respond to accidents, calls for service, and distress calls. So they're very busy as well.
That's a complete force in itself, the Marine Division. Some of those people volunteer?
Yeah, so the Marine Division are paid, quite frankly, not all that much, but these are individuals who have other full-time jobs, and they have to give up their weekends and time off to come, and we're very...
But they love it.
They love it, and we're indebted to them because they're not there to make money. They're there because they want to be a part of the, you know, part of the community and help the community. Now, our dive team, they're all volunteer. We have 31 volunteer members. They're very respected throughout the state. We have very unique waterways, fast-moving, very deep, and a lot of counties have one or the other, deep water or fast-moving. We have it both, and they are called from to other counties to assist in searches, and we'll call other counties when we need assist as well. They respond to 11 call-outs. That doesn't include all the events and other patrols they do. Any kind of time you see a big event on the water, there's a dive boat out there somewhere ready to respond to an emergency. Again, they're kind of under the umbrella of the Marine Division, but they're a little bit on their own, and those individuals have a lot of training, a lot of specialized equipment, and the specialized boats to be able to respond to those calls of need. So it's a great group of people, and as you can see, there's a lot of things going on at the Sheriff's Department.
How many total members do you have in the department?
So if you include all of the employees, including the Marine Division and civilians, it's around 320.
Wow.
So it's larger than you would probably think. If you would talk about our uniform personnel on the road, we have about 90, and in the jail we have about 104. Again, it's a large diversion. And I spoke earlier, all the areas I spoke of earlier, that was just the road patrol. You know, we have a jail division that people don't talk about. They don't get much glory, but man, they do hard work back there.
The jail, over the years, the population goes up, the population goes down.
Yep.
Where are you at in that occupancy rate right now?
So right now we're probably down over the average because we used to be right at that 500 mark, and changing in laws of sentencing and bond reduction laws have lowered our population a little bit. We were down pretty low at the lowest during COVID, and we're up to nearly 400 now. So we've got a lot of people in there. There is room for more, but it's really quite comfortable right now. The deputies are very busy, but when it gets really full up to the 500, it's hard to run our programming.
Yeah.
And that's something I'll talk about in a minute. We're proud of our programming. And in 2022, we booked in 3,588 people. So people are coming in and going through the process of being arraigned, and then possibly bonding out, or maybe they get sentenced and serve their sentence, or maybe they go to Michigan Department of Corrections on a felony charge. So people are coming and going constantly. They're very busy in there with a lot of moving parts. And one of the things I said earlier, our programming, we're proud of it. We have the mindset that we have a captive audience when they're in there. So we offer a lot of programs, some of which are court ordered, some of which we offer to better them. Our idea is we want to give an opportunity for people who are in our facility to be better when they leave. What they do with it when they leave, we can't control, but we put it right in front of them. Yes, hey, we had 17 people earn their GEDs last year.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and you know what? Quite frankly, if the individuals were not in our facility, they probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
and we had 7
wonderful.
people actually get their high school diploma because we have a high school
great.
through there. So they left with the capability and tools to better themselves, get a better job, and hopefully not come back, right? Yeah. And many of our other programming include things like our RSAT, which is for individuals who are having problems with addiction. Our MAT program, medically assisted program, helps individuals through counseling and specific prescriptions to help them get off their addiction. And we have countless other ones, including domestic violence classes, trauma group classes, PTSD group. We have all different kinds of faith-based groups that come and volunteer their time, and they hold mass so the individual can still keep in touch with their faith or maybe be introduced to it. I always say you don't hear too many success stories where people really truly turn their life around, maybe addiction or violent activity, without some link to a faith. And these are individuals from our
community and good support.
Yes. So when they leave, these people are in our community. They can still reconnect with them.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of the work they do back there. I say back there because the way our building's set up, they're kind of our unsung heroes. They deal with some of the most difficult people in our society every single day, 12-hour shifts, and they work hard, and I'm proud of our corrections division.
Yeah, it's a thing that the public generally sees the sheriff's car driving by, but they don't realize all the other things that you guys are responsible for and how many people you touch every day.
Yes, and it's from all the people, from all the groups I talk to. Like I said, some of these individuals that may come across our Marine Division, let's say, they could be on a $2 million boat and they would never meet anybody from the Sheriff's Department.
Right.
Maybe they're not even from this area, but they're going to come in contact with us because we're going to do safety checks. Individuals who have a family member incarcerated, they know that they can have contact with them through our technologies, and they know that programming included medical staff and psychiatric staff and mental health staff are all there to make sure that we're able to give them the services they need when they're with us. So they don't have to worry about their loved one maybe being without their medication or their psychiatric help. And that's eases a lot of minds of the individuals who have family members in our jail.
The career of police work, criminology, has been up and down. People, it's very exciting on TV, but then you hear other news stories that are tough. Are you getting a lot of good recruits?
We are. I'm very proud of the people we've hired, but I will say, it's been a long journey of the lack of interest in law enforcement, and without getting into the weeds too much, it's been about a 12 or 14 year thing. And when you look back at when really the anti-police sentiment came out, was about that time, 12, 14 years ago. Well, those individuals that were 8, 9, 10, 12 years old, who, when I was that age, thought I might want to be the police, they were taught, not all of them, but a lot of them were taught police wasn't that great job, and a lot of people don't like the police. It was unpopular. Well, now those individuals are 20, 25, 28, and we're getting less interest. When I applied, there was over 200 applicants. Now we're getting 1 or 2 at a time. We get them right in and interview them. So it's a challenge, but we're meeting that challenge. Okay.
Well, Mat King, thanks very much for coming in, and we'll have you back sooner than we did this last time. and what a great department you got running there.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk about the work we do.
Good. We'll be back with our next guest in a second. Welcome back to the next segment here on the Focus program as we progress through the month of February already. Welcoming back, we are doing that right now with Deb Johnson and Kathleen Gallagher. Welcome back to the Focus set.
Thank you.
You behaved last time.
I did.
So we allowed you to come back.
I earned that right, huh?
You earned that
Okay.
right. You earned that right. And she got to drive, you got to drive. It doesn't make any difference. You both arrived.
That we both got here safe and sound. Perfect.
I want to know about a new program that you're launching, which is a fun name. It's after Facebook, but it's not Facebook. It's Talkspace.
Talkspace.
Pretty close.
Or maybe you're thinking, wasn't it used to be called MySpace? No. What was it?
MySpace was one of the originals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
first
that was it.
MySpace.
That was it. That's the one
there
I
was
was-
MySpace and then FaceTime.
Is that
So-
even around anymore?
I don't think so.
We don't think so. We were just at a conference where they were talking a little bit about the impact of social media on kids, and MySpace was first, then Facebook.
Yeah.
But anyways, so Talkspace, yes. Talkspace is an internet-based option for people to get mental health services, and she's going to talk more about that. But what I want to tell you is how it came to be, sort of. We received some ARPA funding from the City of Port Huron, which we're very appreciative. And then we added some funding for people that don't live in the City of Port Huron so that it can be a county-wide opportunity for people. And so we're just kicking it off. There's a couple different platforms. There's the actual a self-guided app for people that we'll talk more about, and then there's an actual online therapy platform. So, Kathleen, you want to add to that?
Kathleen, Talkspace is both an app and a web page, right? Talk to me about how it works.
Absolutely. So you would download the app to your phone from the App Store or your iPad, your laptop, and you can go on and you can look at their webpage and get all kinds of resources from them, things that you can do that are self-guided to improve your mental health. So it's nice, it's convenient. You could do it from the privacy of your home.
Right.
And you can do it anytime that you need to.
And you do have to put a passcode in there for it to be free to you, and it's just SCCCMH, St. Clair County Community Mental Health, the initials.
Okay, all right.
So then once a month you get to meet virtually with a therapist. And then between time you can also chat with that therapist. So you can get in the app, send them a message, and they respond to you.
And it's free.
It's free.
Wow.
We've
Because
been really,
therapists can be very expensive.
it can be very expensive. So we're lucky to have had ARPA funding to help with this. And also St. Clair County CMH has also put some dollars toward it as well. We just think we want to reduce those barriers when people need help the most, which is right now.
Nothing? I was going to thought you were adding.
I thought you were going to ask something again.
Well, it's a good-looking page. Talkspace
Yes.
self-guided, your mental health answers, and it's there for you to use. And I like the fact that it's an app, so you can use it anytime.
Absolutely. Anytime that you're feeling stressed, it can be, you can do something for 15 minutes. You can take 5 minutes out of your day and do it. Or if you have more time, you look at more live webinars or live instruction.
So if you do the self-guided app, you do like a little assessment to start off with, and then it kind of will create a personalized plan based on what you put in the assessment. So that's how that works. And I don't think we said this, but it's kind of intended for kids not younger than 14, like 14 on up. And so people should think about that when they're looking at it. And to get more information about it, people can go to our website and just type in sccCMH.org/Talkspace. And then it will give more information about all of the program.
Go ahead. So once I get started on Talkspace, it's self-guided. That's super.
Well, there's two things. There's the counseling, and then there's the self-guided app.
So there's both pieces. So that
Yeah.
self-guided app is where they have all the live tutorials and different strategies that you can use. So you can view those at any time. And then you can also message a live counselor and then have one live session, a virtual session per month. So you're connected with a counselor the whole time.
Do you get the same counselor? Maybe and maybe not?
The hope would be that you would, yes, that you would stick with that same person so that you build a relationship with them.
Yeah. All right, community forums, are we,
Yes, we are still, we're doing those. We've held
how are the first two?
the first two, actually, we did do two. This is the wrong thing.
Yep, we had the first one at
We've had
BW
two.
Rock.
Yeah,
That went
BW
well.
Rock, it went well. Had maybe about 10 people, and then our staff made it a little bit more. But we're really hoping to get more people. The second one did not go so well at Children's Services. We did not receive any people, but it was, that one blizzard we had for about 2 hours a week ago or so. It was that night.
The weather
oh.
wasn't great.
The weather was bad.
Right.
So the next one, though, is Wednesday night, and that is going to be at Community Enterprises in Port Huron. And we are hoping to have a good turnout for that. And the purpose of these forums is for us to hear about any issues people want to share with us about accessing our services. Has it been difficult? Is it easy? Any suggestions for improvement? Have they utilized any of our services or programs, or do they have suggestions for us to make those better? So we just really want to hear from people about their
And there's
experience.
no cost to this. This is a volunteer thing. Just come on in. You want to hear what people want to or think.
Yeah, we want to hear, and we started off giving a little update. Kathleen and I give an update about changes at community mental health programs that we have going on. Just kind of an overview of the system. Our system has grown tremendously in the last number of years, and so we want to talk about that a little bit. And just some things that are new on the horizon for us, and then we open it up and ask people for feedback. And if people want to submit questions in advance because they feel like they might be, too timid to do it at that time or just not comfortable, they can do that. There's information on the flyer and on our website too. It goes to Heather Hayes at 966-7875, or her email is just hhayes@sccCMH.org. You can find all that info on Facebook and on our website.
It's free. You don't have to register. You can just show up. So if at the last minute you have time available, we'd love to see you.
There's going to be great snacks.
It's the 16th of February.
The 15th will be at Community Enterprises
Right.
in Port Huron, and the 16th will be at our KPAC office.
Okay.
And then eventually we're going to do one in Marine City, but we're holding off on that one because we are going to be moving to a new location on King Road in April.
April sometime.
And once we do, we'll put out the address. We'll host kind of a combo open house community forum there.
And then right after April comes May, and there's a big event coming up in May, which is called Healthy Minds, Healthy Bodies Run for Recovery.
Yes, and this is, I think, our 13th annual, I think. Do you
Wow.
remember? I think it's the 13th annual, and it's a fun run. You can walk it, you can run it, and we have a kids timed 1 mile race for the children, which we give out medals and everything. So it is May 13th, and it starts at 8:30 in the morning. So we're always looking for people too if they want to help volunteer, but we really like people to participate. We've had a lot of the area run clubs pre-COVID. I don't know if the run clubs are up and running since
Right.
COVID, because we didn't have any at our last year's run that I recall. We usually have a special guest. Like last year we had Skip, and what's Little Skip and Big Skip?
From SC4.
the from SC4, the mascot.
Oh yeah,
The skipper, the big skipper, and then there's Little Skip. So we had the Skips there. We're trying for Paws, actually, Detroit Tigers mascot. So he might be there, but we'll update you on the next show where we're at with that. So yeah, and the price goes up after April 7th, so people should get registering, and that's on our website, Facebook.
I get a kick out of people. They love to get the medals. No matter how many medals people have for one of those the walks or the runs or whatever, they still want to collect more. They just love them.
I know. I was looking at. I have a bunch in my office, and I'm not very fast, but I'm old, so nobody else runs against me. So if there's like 3 people, I can manage to get one of those places. But I'm like, what do I do with all these? They're just all hanging on a coat rack.
Right.
But anyways, it's fun. And it's
Self-recognition.
It's a nice opportunity though. Physical exercise we know helps your mental health. So there's all kinds of reasons to do that.
Well, I really like the first one we were talking about, which was Talkspace. I mean, that's something that people can do, and they don't have to be embarrassed about anything. They can just go online and get some help.
Absolutely.
free.
It's very easy to do.
And that might be the way that you sort of break into or ease into therapy if you maybe need some therapy, because you can try it that way, see how it goes.
I don't want to
If
be
you-
embarrassed.
Hopefully you see the benefit, and then you'll just, you can go beyond that. I just talked to a parent the other day who said their 17-year-old was kind of struggling, needed somebody to talk to, and I suggested she try.
So Talkspace is a pretty exciting thing that's happening.
It
and,
is.
People got to get involved in it.
We hope that people do, and like we were talking about, it's an easier way if you're a little intimidated by going into counseling or therapy. It's a good way to start. We also talk about the importance of self-care all the time, and so that the self-guided app is for anybody. Do the assessment; it'll give you some suggestions, and taking care of yourself is incredibly important.
Okay. Kathleen, any final words?
It's just really convenient. I encourage people to try it. Even if you have 5-10 minutes a day, you can spend it on the app finding a good
Okay.
resource for yourself.
Ladies, thanks as always for coming in. We'll see you shortly. And that's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Thanks very much for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.